what is the optimal line on a racetrack and how do we find it? As you can see where I'm standing, there's a darker color on the racetrack where I'm standing. This is where the majority of the karts have been driving, and they're laying that rubber and that foundation onto the racetrack. On both the outside and also the inside of the racetrack, there's a lighter tinge to it. That means there's less karts that have driven those particular lines, and there's less rubber in those parts of the racetrack. The ideal racing line provides the most rubber. That should provide the most grip and give drivers the best opportunity to have the maximum corner speed. So the key to the racing line is keeping that vision all the way up. Now, when we've got some corners, especially on the chicane that we are standing on right now, there's a left-hand turn and a right-hander very, very quickly. So if drivers aren't paying attention, they might get the racing line in the first part of the corner and then miss it in the second part. So when we're not driving on the optimal racing line, what drivers will notice is they're going to be driving in what's called marbles or debris. Now this is a result of drivers driving on the racing line, and as their karts are going through the corners at speed, it starts flicking off rubber. Now, when you're in the marbles, this is going to provide less grip for that driver. The easiest way to spot if you're in the marbles is look at the tinge of racetrack we can see here. It's a lot lighter in color. Less grip means less speed around the corners. So if drivers are slow around the turns, they might be finding themselves off of the racing line. So in this shot we just saw, our driver is holding it too tight of the racing line. Now why might that be? There's not enough speed taken through an uphill section of the racetrack. So with limited speed through this part of the track, and him turning a corner, he's holding a tighter line. With more speed, even on the same steering lock, he'll be able to flow out more towards the highest grip on the racetrack. So as you can see in this example, this is how the kart should look around this part of the racetrack. Slightly wider and carrying more speed through this part. So although it's not raining today, when you drive in the wet conditions, you want to be staying slightly off of the racing line. Now, why would you want to stay off of the normal rubbered up line in the rain? Water mixed with rubber is like ice for your tires. So you're trying to stay just off of that rubbered line, and you're looking for the more abrasive part of the racetrack. That abrasiveness is going to dig into those wet weather tires, and that's going to actually provide more grip for your kart. So not all times can you see the racing line on the track. So how are we going to know where to drive if there's no racing line? You want to start to look for different parts of the racetrack that have been worn out. We can see this white painted line has been taken up now. Some of that white paint's gone because more and more karts have been driving over that part of the track. Even looking at where they've placed these little tires on the edge, because karts are maximizing the full width of the racetrack to keep up their corner speed. So when drivers are looking for that racing line, it's not always on the racetrack itself. In this case, it's actually on the curbing. Now drivers are looking ahead to see that the black line is actually on that curb as well. So you're gonna have 2 tyres up on the curb and 2 tyres on the racetrack. That's the ideal racing line on this particular corner. So pay attention, each corner is different. Some are gonna have it over the curb, some are gonna have it on the racetrack. So keep your eyes forward to find that ideal racing line.